And the one I've been using for the last couple of years is, do you feel more loved when God makes much of you, or do you feel more loved when God frees you to enjoy making much of Him forever? The former is not grace. The latter is grace. Because it's God-centered. I fear that for most Americans who have grown up on the self-esteem gospel, the only filter in their brain to understand grace is that which makes much of me. If it doesn't make much of me and thus help me feel good about being made much of, I don't feel graciously treated. That's a fundamental flaw in their whole makeup and network. Our hardest job is to shift the categories of emotion and thought such that God becomes the center of the universe around which all the planets circle, so that the highest experience of satisfaction is in making much of Him, not having Him make much of us. And so the way that happens is that you recognize Him as an infinitely all-sufficient, overflowing fountain that is worthy of your trust, worthy of your delight, worthy of your praise, worthy of your allegiance. And you begin to live that way. And grace is the utterly undeserved action of God to include you in that enjoyment. If you don't define grace in terms of enjoying God, I don't know how you can keep it from being self-centered. Now, we'll have to discuss this some more on the panel to see where I fit in with this need stuff, right, that David Pallison's been talking about. Because there's some fuzzy, we need to think clearly about this. But I think God-centeredness is preserved by making Him the center of your desires. I wonder if David would agree with that. I don't think he's here, but he'll be here, Lord willing, tomorrow. That the test of whether you get grace or not is the best thing God could do for you is give you God to enjoy. If you don't think that's the best thing He could do for you, you don't get grace. If you think the best thing He could do for you is to give you a good marriage, or believing kids, or a healthy body, or a successful church, you don't understand grace. The highest, most loving, most gracious thing God could do for you is to give you God for your everlasting and ever-increasing enjoyment. If you don't get that, you don't get grace. So I don't hear too many people saying that, and so I don't think I don't think we've quite got grace yet.
Thank you for listening to this message by John Piper, pastor for preaching at Bethlehem Baptist Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Feel free to make copies of this message to give to others, but please do not charge for those copies or alter the content in any way without permission. We invite you to visit Desiring God online at www.desiringgod.org. There you'll find hundreds of sermons, articles, radio broadcasts, and much more, all available to you at no charge. Our online store carries all of Pastor John's books, audio, and video resources. You can also stay up to date on what's new at Desiring God. Again, our website is www.desiringgod.org. Or call us toll-free at 1-888-346-4700. Our mailing address is Desiring God, 2601 East Franklin Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55406. Desiring God exists to help you make God your treasure, because God is most glorified in us when we are most satisfied in Him.